Hey there, in this video I'm going to walk you through how to set up and how to view actually uh, the way a prospect enters a website and the actions that they take throughout the website to get a desired effect. This is relatively simple and straightforward, but this is incredibly high leverage work. Being able to do this for your website or for your clients' websites will allow you the upper hand in really being able to understand the clear and concise strategy and funnel that your prospect has to go through in order to become a customer. Now, this isn't just for websites that sell things. This is also websites that have membership. You need to take someone through a process to have them sign up to be a member. This also works for nonprofits who are trying to raise awareness. You can drive a prospect through the website to get some required outcome. So in this video, we're going to walk through different strategies to set up, strategies to map out simple and even complex immersion and sales sequences. So here's what it looks like. Here's kind of a typical website. You've probably been to one. On the screen here you see 4 traffic sources are driving traffic to a website, and on that website it says sign up. There's a sign up button. That's signing up for, let's say, the newsletter. Maybe it's signing up for some information that they're going to provide for you. Excuse me. When they click the sign up button, they go to a web page, and that page says go check your email and make sure that you got the confirmation link. This lets us know that you really want the information and you're kind of stuck there. At the same time, your email address is recorded into a system, and that system sends out the request to confirm your email address. I'm sure you've seen this before. So in your email, you'd receive an automatic email that had a link, and when you clicked on that link, it would take you to a page that says, thanks for signing up. You'll now receive our newsletters, or whatever it is. It'll send you free stuff. Maybe that'll be packaged in this initial page, whatever it is. This is one of the more simplistic approaches to an immersion sequence. If it wasn't a 2-part, it possibly would look like this. We would just be able to remove that whole step and say sign up straight over here to thank you. So they hit the sign up button, all's good, send them to the thank you page and send them free stuff. So that's another route that we could take to deliver the prospect or deliver the customer whatever they're asking for. In this case, let's call it a newsletter. Now the problem with this method is that people can use fake email addresses. There you go. And when they're using fake email addresses, you then sending out the emails, you're thinking 1,000 emails out, and maybe 500 of those emails that you're sending to your prospects are actually spam. They're bad emails. So that's why this process isn't a typical way that people go anymore, and instead they move more towards this double opt-in approach. We call it double opt-in because the prospect has to start on the website and opt in once and then confirm their opt-in. So that's what means a double opt-in. So real simple and straightforward. You'll see this on really hundreds and thousands of different websites. It's a very simple process, and there needs to be a little bit of technology in place to make this all happen. Now, what's nice is that you're recording the email address. And there's a US law that states, and even a Canadian law that states, that if you have their email address, you can try it one more time after the initial send to say, hey, I got your email address. Are you sure you wanted to confirm? Like, double check, actually hit this button. Because if they didn't hit that button the first time around, you kind of lost that person. We're making someone jump through 2 hoops. First to sign up, then to confirm it. This is going to lower conversion rate because it's more work for someone to do. It's kind of that simple. The more work we ask a prospect to do on a website, the less they're actually going to do, the less that are actually going to go all the way through to it. So we want to ask as little as possible. If I was deep in a website and I said to someone, if you're looking at buying this product and have a question, just go through here and do a straightforward submit your question to me on this web form. Now that would be fine because they're further into the sales cycle and I don't want them jumping through hoops. But if I wanted that person for a regular email newsletter, I want to make sure they give me the right email address. There's less trust on the front end from them. They trust us less. We kind of trust them less as prospects. Further into the sales cycle, the more trusting they are. The more trusting we are of them as well. So, simple immersion sequence. The flow that someone uses, or the flow that a prospect could potentially come into the website and take action. So we set this thank you page as the success criteria. This is really important. The naming convention that we say in this is it's a thank you page, and it's the success criteria. Later on, we'll be able to put little pieces of code on this page that says that a conversion happened, that someone actually submitted their email address and they went all the way through, and it confirmed it. By doing that, we can attribute each traffic source to a conversion. That's a really cool thing that we'll be able to do. We'll be able to say, this ad on Facebook drove 10 signups, and on average it cost us $2 a sign up. Something like that. And you can start to figure out the real metrics behind it. This may seem overly simplistic to do for a website if you have a website that is this simple, but trust me, it's not. Having this and having a clear understanding of your website or your client's website or a website that you intend to build is going to help you understand how the process works, and you'll never get yourself into a position where you'll never get yourself into a position where you're adding complexity to something that you don't really understand, thereby breaking it. So that's the big reason that you want to be doing this. All right. The next thing here is, this is called a free gift. We can do a free gift. Have you ever seen a free gift on a website? A website says, here's a free gift for your email address. Now, why do they do that? Maybe you have an idea. So I personally have a couple of different email addresses. I have some work-related, I have some family-related, personal email addresses that I like to use for signing up for clothing websites or whatever that I'll never check again. But if someone wanted my real email address, what would it take? So I'll turn that question on you. If you have a primary and a non-primary email address, what's it going to take for me to get your primary email address? Maybe it's a $10 bill. Maybe if I gave you a crisp $10 bill and handed it to you, you'd write down your real email address and give it to me. It's kind of a weird transaction, but maybe it would happen. On a website, you have to have some kind of perceived value or some actual value in exchange for real contact information. If I say, just give me any email address that you have and I'll give you, a sign up for our newsletter, people are going to be like, kind of whatever. I don't want to sign up for the newsletter. I don't want one more email. This is kind of a bad bribe, okay? This is no good. But if you turn it around and said, I have a clothing website and I'll give you 50% off your first order if you give me your email address and confirm it and share it on Facebook, well, that's a bribe that I'm willing to take. There's a website, tobi.com, T-O-B-I, and currently here in quarter 4 of 2014, they are running a 30 or 40% off promotion for your first sale if you sign up and share the information that you signed up on Facebook. Well, that's a great deal. If you're ordering a $100, let's say, dress, and it's a $40 off coupon, you are then getting $40 off. So sharing on Facebook is worth $40. Is sharing something on Facebook worth $40 to you? For most people, I believe the answer is absolutely yes. So what they did was they created a free gift that gets someone to take the action that's necessary and set the law of reciprocity in action in their favor. So the company, Tobi in this case, T-O-B-I, they said, we're going to get this free gift, we're going to put it out there, and we're going to maybe even break even. Maybe their profit margin was 40% on the dress. But they know that just by you sharing that purchase that you made on Facebook, other people are likely to come from it, and they don't have to spend money acquiring other customers. So they spend money acquiring other customers by way of giving you a discount. It's a really great free gift, and really everyone wins. So think about what kind of free gift, or what we like to call an ethical bribe, needs to exist in order for you personally to give away your email address. Always think about yourself in the situation and how you would relate. All right, here is a company that hired me to do some work to help them work on their immersion sequence. It was tricky. So I'm going to zoom out here. First thing is, this software I'm using is Gliffy, Gliffy.com. It's free for like 3 of these little Gliffys, and then you can share them, hit publish. Once you make them public, it's a little slow to save. I'll give them that. But once you publish, you can send someone the PNG, an image, or send them a web page. What's cool is they have this web page link. Anytime they go to it, you can give them this one page link, and then you can always be back here editing and saving, and it updates what their link shows. It's a really nice thing. It's not like sending a file to them that they open, and then when you update the file, you have to send a new one. They just have one link that references this, and whenever you save it or resave it, they get the updated content. So here is a Gliffy that I created for an executive program. This company, it's a university, and they were driving people through this program. The program was very expensive. It was something like $7,000 for 7 days in California. You had to pay for the $7,000 fee, plus you had to pay for your flight out there and the opportunity cost of not being at work. It was a relatively expensive thing. Well, what they did, on their website, was when you went to their website, there was 2 buttons. One was learn more and the other one was apply. When you read the information, you say, you know what, I want to learn a bit more. I'm going to hit learn more, and it asks for their first name, last name, and email address. And I have that noted right here. So that's in first name, last name, email address, and then they hit submit. When they do that, the CRM, or the software that holds all their contact information, saves that data. Next, they get pushed onto an email campaign, and that email campaign is called Learn More. They go to a page that essentially says, thank you, and you'll be getting more information through email. So that's how we handle the Learn More people. That's kind of that one single straightforward process. There's not a double opt-in there. It's a single opt-in. Not many people are going to the site, so we felt like that was an okay risk to take. So this process right here is very simple. From the page, fill out my information, say Learn More, go to the page that says thank you, you'll get the information, and we start sending them automated emails. We'll talk about those emails in a bit. Now I created, this is kind of a super user thing, but I created a Google goal. But really what this is I created a conversion tracking goal. And the goal says, someone starts here, ends here. Tell me what percentage of people do that. And tell me where they came from. So it's saying, someone from Bing came to the website, hit Learn More, and got to this page, and they converted at, let's say, a 67% conversion rate. Well, that's really great. We know that the Bing traffic's converting well. Well, this site, I'm paying a lot of money for, and it goes through, and it's converting at a 0.5%. Well, that's not great. Maybe I want to buy different keywords, do a different ad strategy, whatever it is. That's what this tracking thing is. It tracks the goal from the start to the stop. We'll talk more about that in later videos. Next is the process to apply. So let's say the person came and they hit Learn More, and they received an email, and they were like, you know what, you're right, I need to apply. So they click on the Apply Now button, and it takes them through a long, arduous sales process. But it has to be, I think, this long and as arduous. So they hit the Apply Now, they go to a page called Application and then the event name. And they get to view the application. They hit Apply. Bunch of stuff happens with the software, the CRM. We add their information to the CRM. A new lead is created that says that they're interested. So in my software that I can follow up with later or have the salespeople look at, it says that they were interested. There is a email campaign that goes out that's called the Apply campaign. This is for emails related to people who are applying. And then also we do a 12-hour follow-up task is automatically created for the salesperson. So after someone hits this button, the salespeople automatically get an update to go call the person within 12 hours and say, hey, I saw you were applying. Let me know if you have any questions. This is great because it brings the leads to the salespeople instead of the salespeople having to comb through data. This kind of revolutionized the way that their business was being run. So this is kind of after I did the work for them, what it ended up looking like. So after they hit the Apply button, from the application name, they go over to a place to talk about their deposit. They choose the event and say make a deposit. They choose the date, make a deposit. It's a $1,000 deposit. And they hit that button. They go to the store. They add the rest of the event to their cart. They process through the cart. And you're probably familiar with this. You have to enter your billing and shipping information. You have to enter your credit card information. And the final step is review your order before you purchase. You do this with Amazon. Although Amazon did patent the one-click purchase, this is kind of the traditional process that you would go through on just about any website. And at the very end, what happens after you click the buy button? You get taken to what page? You get taken to the thank you page. That's the page that says thank you for ordering, thank you for putting down your deposit. and then we give them a confirmation email, and we even give them the ability right from that confirmation email to tweet out to their friends and say, I'm going to the event on this time and this date, and I'm super excited. It's a nice way, just like Toby does, to get people to share their experience so that other people know about it, and we spend less money on marketing. So this is a really crazy process. I mean, really long. All along the way, I have these things called retargeting cookies that get dropped. We'll talk about those in a later video, but that allows us to show ads to people based on where they were in the sales cycle when they left. So if I had someone come to the sales cycle, they went all the way through and they got to this page, the last cookie we saw was that they had the deposit in their shopping cart, and we want to bring them back. If someone went all the way through that process and put the deposit in the shopping cart, they're super qualified. So the closer someone gets to this page, the more qualified they are. And if I had a fixed amount of money, let's say I had just $100, I would spend $100 bringing someone from this page to this page. I might spend $50 bringing 2 people from this page to this page. I might spend $10 for 10 people to bring them from this page to this page. You see, this page is worth the most to us because they're almost there. They're almost taking the leap. So these retargeting cookies, we place them and then we can use them later and leverage them for marketing. But again, we'll talk about that in a later video. And you'll also see a Google goal starts here, which is the apply now process. Just like this goal kind of hopped from the start to the finish, this one is from the start and it ends way down here at the finish. So this is a pretty crazy immersion sequence for kind of a wild thing. And it has to be this long because of how they go through the shopping cart and kind of some technological limitations that exist with their current technology set. If you were building this from the ground up, you could probably cut out a number of these steps, maybe cutting out these steps. But just the work alone that I did with them, and then I handed it over to my tech team to actually do the development, we were able to increase throughput, something dramatic, like 35% of people that started in the funnel, 35% more people made it through. Just because we measured it out first, I drew all the stuff out, and then I had my team get rid of the unnecessary pieces. Now, I'm not a tech guy, okay? I work with tech guys. I love tech, but I am not a tech guy. I don't have the skill set for it. I don't have that focus level that you need to be like a coder. So what I did here was I drew out what I thought the ultimate strategy would look like, and I just said, make it so. Like, just see what you guys can do. Go in and tell me, is this crazy dream that I came up with actually something that y'all could do or not? And what they told me was, yeah, we can do it all but these 2 steps. I said, perfect, let's get going. And they did the whole thing, and we measured the difference in conversion rates from this start all the way to the thank you page, before with all the extra pages, and after, and we saw that increase of about 34%, an increase in conversion rate. That's big money when we're talking about $7,000 per person. There's a nice little chunk of profit in there. Even if you're converting 1 extra person a month, that more than pays for kind of a wild rate that you could charge as a marketer. So when you're playing with high volume, high dollar things like this university or other big businesses, a small tweak could mean a massive windfall for them as far as profits. All right, one thing to remember whenever measuring this stuff out is that just the act of measuring a system makes it more efficient. Sounds counterintuitive, I guess. Just measuring out the system, just blocking this out, just writing every single page that someone goes to. These are all the page names from the URL. Every single one. I get to see exactly the process. It's not hard work. This whole thing to map out what they currently have didn't take me more than a half hour or an hour. But it made their system incredibly more sophisticated and simplistic because I was able to identify things that were redundant, were unnecessary. Right here, you ask the applicant for their first name and email address. Right here. When we ask them for their first name and email address, in the shopping cart, they were asking for it again because these systems weren't syncing the information. Well, for a programmer, that's a real simple thing to do. You throw the submit information inside of a variable in the URL and pass it along, or stick it into a cookie and pull it out later. I mean, there's a bunch of ways to do it that are beyond me, but I knew it had to be possible. You shouldn't have to ask someone twice for their name and their first name, last name, and their email address. So just by adding that in, it didn't bug people as much. If someone has $7,000 in 7 days, maybe we'll call it 9 days because they have to fly in and out, plus the cash to fly, plus the people to cover them, plus the cash for the hotel, and to do all the things that you're going to do when you're out in California at this event, they don't want to put their first name in multiple times. If your system isn't sophisticated enough to handle that, they're saying, I'm out of here. So measure out a system, and you can find ways to improve it, and don't think that you have to be the person that fixes it. Your job as a marketer is not to go in and do the technical work necessarily. Now, there's chief marketing technologists. That's a great role for someone who really likes the intersection between technology and marketing. I'm kind of there, but I'm way more marketing than I ever will be technology. I don't want to spend my time learning how to do these variable passing URL tricks. It's not worth my time. I can leverage my talents better doing other things, which would be drawing this out and handing that to someone who really has a natural talent in that. And honestly, I get it wrong and I'd feel really bad, but I'll get this right. So why don't I just do the things that I'm really good at? I heard someone once say that when you spend time focusing on your weaknesses, you just get mediocre. If you spend time focusing on your strengths, you really become strong. So, something to look out for. Hire out your weaknesses and work on the things that you're good at. All right. Now, we talked about some of these email campaigns. After someone hits the thank you page, so they went through the full sales process, they just dropped the money on the deposit, they get an email campaign, and they also get, there's a sales task that gets created, so the sales people, the sales team, will get a note to call them and say, we got your deposit, let's talk about how you're going to get the other $6,000 in. Not a lot of people want to be transferring $7,000 on a website. I get it. So they want to do a bank transfer or whatever it is. So we have that task in there. If you scroll down, I put together some email campaigns, basic email campaigns. For the apply campaign, again, that was the campaign way up here. This is the apply campaign when they're going to purchase. We dump them on the apply campaign right here. This person is more valuable to us when they're here than when they're at Learn More. So when they start applying, they're worth more to us because they're closer to the thank you page. So what I did was I started an email campaign and deliver awesome content, all these different days. Excuse me. And then 2 weeks into it, I have an automated email that goes out that says, hey, and it merges in their first name. Hey, John, I was just wondering if you've had time to think about this event and if it makes sense for us to get on the phone and chat. Let me know some times that you're free and I'll book one. Thanks, Casey. That email automatically sends to these people 14 days in, and that might be the trigger that gets them on the phone to call the sales guy and start chatting. Automated marketing. We also do some gauging interest at 90, 120, 180, and 240 days. We're looking for people opening the emails and what they're doing. At some point, they can manually be moved into something called a downsell campaign, which is selling them something that isn't this expensive event. Maybe it's a cheaper event, or a shorter event, or a DVD set. We know that they're interested, but they're just not buying. With the Learn More campaign, we send them the same stuff, same kind of content to let them learn more, because there's really no difference if someone abandons the campaign, if they go through the Learn More and go here, or if they go through apply and they leave here. They're both really likely interested, and they haven't taken enough action for us to really know much difference about them. So this person hasn't spent $1. This person just said, I'm interested, but they both gave us the same information. So I just said, let's follow up with the same email campaign. There's a deposit campaign, which says, right after they give us the deposit, we give them a free gift. It's a thing in marketing that we call buyer's remorse. You buy something, it's too expensive, you think about it in the car, you're like, do I want it, do I need it, I don't know, and then you go and return it because you have remorse from it. Well, what we do is we created an email that got sent to them automatically after purchasing that says, here you go, and here's a free gift. Here's some content that we otherwise charged $1,000 for. Here's some great videos from our last event. Yours free. Go ahead and enjoy them. Well, that's going to take the person from saying, I don't know, I don't know if I should really be spending this $1,000. Maybe I should ask for a refund. To, I just spent $1,000 and I got $1,000 in videos. Plus, I'm going to this great event. This is going to be awesome. And then before the event, 30 days, 14 days, 7 days, and 1 days, we give them information on hotel information, transportation, recap of things to be presented on, kind of get them excited, packing list, things that they should consider bringing, tips and last-minute changes if anything comes up. And then after the campaign's over, if they go through it, they purchase, they attend the campaign, and they had a great time, the day they get home, we ask them for a testimonial. We say, hey, tell us how it was. Record a quick video on your iPhone, shoot it to us, let us know what you thought of the event. We would love to hear from you. We get free testimonials coming in without even working. We created one email, and we get testimonials coming in. The next is a referral request. 3 days after the event's over, we send them a note and say, hey, John, I know you had a great time. It was really great to seeing everyone out there. I'm wondering, do you have any friends that you think would be impacted from an event like this? Any friends that you would want to refer to us? If you do, just shoot them this email and CC me on it, and I'll take it from there. And people then forward that email to their friends and say, you know, Bill, I just had this great time at this event. You got to check it out. I CC'd the sales guy. Chat with him if you want. That gets qualified people talking to the sales guy. I mean, this is a pretty killer marketing sequence. Mapping everything out like this kind of changed the way they saw their business. Their chief marketing officer printed this out and tacked it to the back of their office door. They tacked it to the back of the office door because the office door, when they close it, they're in their room, they're studying, they're thinking, they can see it, they can see the map of everything, and they can say, there's an inefficiency somewhere. Where is it? It's all laid out, and they find that inefficiency, then they go do something to fix it, or they go have the tech team fix it. It's really helpful, I think, to build this out no matter what your business is, no matter how simple it is. So it's always one of the first steps to do in marketing is to map out a sales process. So let's go to a website that's currently doing it. So giltcom is a great website for fashion. So we come to the website, gilt.com, and we're checking it out. There's a sale, it says, men, women, baby, kids, home city. You know, I want something for my house. I could go for a rug right now. I can click on a rug. Now it's asking me for my information, my email address, just my email address. Well, that's okay, just my email address. So let's start mapping this out. Inside of Gliffy, I'm just going to make a rudimentary Gliffy here. It doesn't have to be attractive because this is just for our training purposes. So I'm going to set this Gliffy, and what's the first place that we start out at? We start out at gilt.com. And then after that, where do we go? We clicked on something. Clicked on rugs, and then from there, what happened? A page popped up, and that page was, we call that like a light box. When it pops up and everything behind it everything behind it kind of fades. This is called a light box. They're asking for my email address. Oops. Come back here and say, or connect with Facebook. Okay. So, simple right now. We could also sign in, but we're not looking at all the possible angles. We're just looking for just how a new person comes in. Sign up for a free exclusive membership. I think it's kind of funny because I don't think anything's exclusive if it's free, but I'll take their word for it. So I can put in my email address. Hit shop now. Oops. I already had a Gilt account. Let me try that again. Let me use a different address. So just asked me my email address. I gave it thinking, okay, just my email address to get in. And now it says, give me your password. That's kind of crazy. So I got to get a password. And now my gender, male or female. Well, I'm a male. Then I hit submit. So it's kind of crazy that they didn't ask for all three of those things at once. They didn't ask for email address, password, and gender. Why didn't they ask for all those at the same time? Think of it for a second. You got an answer? Why didn't they ask for all that information all at once? Probably because you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't give them a password. You wouldn't tell them your gender. You wouldn't give them your email address if they asked for all three things. When you meet someone, you don't say to them, hey, nice to meet you, let's get married. You say, hey, nice to meet you, what's your name? You start off slow. You ask for little pieces of information. And they might say no to you. They might say yes to you. Someone, maybe, if you're lucky, will say yes, and things will go from there. So what they're doing is they're asking for less up front, and they're still getting all the information that they want, but they're taking you through individual steps. So if you were, let's say, a designer, a lot of designers would say, no, we'll just ask it for all those things in one box. We'll just put them all in one box and ask for them. Designers do this kind of stuff all the time. They make it elegant, is what they would think. But as a marketer, we got to think differently. It's not the elegance that we want the conversion. What would happen right now if I said, you know what, I'm not giving you a password or my gender, I'm out of here? What's Gilt got? They've got my email address. They can follow up with me with emails now. So they didn't scare me off by asking too many questions. Instead, they asked for one question, got all they needed to keep in touch with me, and now they're asking for the rest of the stuff to start up an account. I think it's a really smart way to do it. So the next step in here, after we hit the confirm button, is password and gender. Okay, I'm going to hit the submit button. And here we are. Now we're inside. Now this thing pops up. What is this? 3 things to know before you shop. Luxury brands up to 60% off. New items daily. Most sales last just 36 hours. And sales start at noon Eastern. Interesting. It's kind of like a manual on how the website works. Perfect. I can hit start shopping. Or I can hit X. Doesn't matter. So start shopping. And where am I taken to? I'm taken to the rug place. I'm taken to the rug marketplace. This is exactly where it should take me. It said, where do you want to go? I said rugs. It says, before we take you there, give me your information. I gave him my information. Then it took me to the rug spot. Perfect. If it would have taken me to, let's say, this page, just the for sale, I'd be like, ugh, that's not what I wanted. And then I have to come back here and be like, what was I looking for? Oh, yeah, rugs, and get into the rugs. But what they did was they took me to the right page. Now, this is interesting. I told them I was a guy. When I click on Gilt, what am I seeing? See up here? Sale, men. They're taking me to the men's sale items. I think that's pretty savvy. All right. Now I'm going to go look at my email and see what email came from them. Have they sent me an email? Here's the email that I received from them. It says, welcome to Gilt. Support at e.gilt.com. To me. I'm in Gmail. This is what it looks like. Cool. Nice and simple. All right. It says, if you are unable to see this message, click here to ensure we can add them to our address book. I've never done that with anyone. Okay. Invite friends and earn credits. Download our app. But what's the thing that we see when we open the email? Welcome to Gilt. We're glad you're here. Shop now. That's what I see. Welcome to Gilt. Shop now. So if I hit shop now, where should it take me? What do they know about me? They know a lot about me, but where should they take me? So I click shop now. Takes me to gilt.com/sale/men. That's a nice place for it to take me, I think. But what's all this garbage in the URL? What is all that? Let's look. So I'm going to open up Notepad. And I'm going to copy that URL. And this is what it looks like. A lot of stuff going on here. I mean, if I squeeze it all together, it just looks like a bunch of garbage, doesn't it? You can't even read it. But as a marketer, this is really, really, really important. So let's look at it. First thing you got to know is anything before a question mark is the web address. Anything after a question mark is marketing variables that we can use for tracking and that developers can use. So if I hit enter after the question mark, I see this. It says UTM campaign equals TRX welcome ampersand UTM medium. Well, ampersands are other variables in the URL string. So if I hit enter there, and I see another ampersand here, hit enter there, here's content, I'm going to hit enter there. Okay, cool. Now it's all kind of formatted nicely. So the first thing it says is, go to this page, the men's sale page. Next thing it says is that there's a campaign called TRX Welcome. Let's get back to that in a second. UTM Medium is email. Well, what do we think's happening with this URL? What happens when I go to the website with this URL? Well, what they're doing is they're tracking how I got to the website, and they're seeing that I came in through email, that the source of that email was Gilt, not Groupon, not anyone else, and that the content, this is weird, was SV control, DV control, loc main image. What in the world? Okay, a lot of stuff going on. Let's jump up to campaign. What does TRX welcome mean? I don't know what TRX means, but welcome means probably welcome to Gilt. They named this whatever they wanted. This is their own naming convention right here. This is a URL tracking variable that Google Analytics uses. We'll see this a lot. Kind of get used to it. UTM is a throwback to Urchin tracking metric. Urchin was the company that Google acquired, which is now known as Google Analytics. So UTM underscore campaign says this tracking metric called campaign recorded as TRX welcome. So someone over at Gilt said, you know what, we're going to call this email TRX welcome. They probably have a sheet somewhere that says what TRX welcome means, what it refers to. They know. We don't have to know. Okay. Medium, we know it. If this was on Twitter, if this was a link on Twitter, the medium would be Twitter. Well, the campaign wouldn't be TRX welcome. The campaign might be, 20% off sale. Maybe that was the name of their campaign that they were running, whatever it was. All right. And the source, again, is Gilt. That's great. That way they know that someone else isn't driving that traffic. And this last thing is cool. UTM content. So source, medium, and campaign always have to be on a URL if you want to track it. You have to have all three of these. But this content is not always necessary. Now, I'm going to show you a trick on how to create these URLs easily without you having to memorize this process. But just know that you have to have source, medium, and campaign. So content says SV control, DV control, loc main image. What's SV and DV? I don't know. I have no idea. I know in marketing we talk about controls and we talk about variables or variations. So we have a marketing piece and we're trying to test it against another one. I say I'm going to create this flyer and I'm going to create another flyer and I'm going to run them at the same time and see which one gets more phone calls. Okay, different phone numbers on them, let's say. That's how we would track. That's called a control, and you're testing against the control with a variable. One variable changes, or maybe you change the whole thing, whatever it is. So this is saying SV control. I don't know what it means. DV control, it probably just means that the email that they're sending me is not currently being tested. It's the one that's always worked for them. That's my guess. And what do we think this loc main image means? Well, main image, loc might mean location. Let's look back at the email. I clicked right here, and it was loc main image. What do you think would happen if I clicked on, let's say, this one? If I click on it, and I copy the URL, do the same thing, line breaking it at the ampersands and question mark. TRX welcome, it's an email from Gilt, SV control, DV control, loc sale 1 image. So the difference is loc main image and location sale image, sale 1 image. Also notice that it took us to a different URL. It took us to the product in question. So again, to look at that, this one was shop now, which is general. It doesn't say shop for men's shirts now. It just says shop now. And this one said Jack Spade accessories. So it should take me to the Jack Spade accessories page. Okay, good. But sale 1 image. All right, let's get sneaky. What do we think this one will take us to? What's the location of this one? We click it and we look at it. If you guessed sale 2 image. They're seeing if people are clicking on their emails further down or just at the top. That's pretty cool information. If you find out that no one ever clicks down here, Maybe just never let people click down here, and then all your emails are just shorter emails. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe that's a test that you want to take. They're testing this stuff to gather data to make decisions on later. You kind of want to get as much data as you can without going overboard by any means. I know some people who have, and it just becomes kind of a hassle. But figuring out where people are clicking on an email, super, super helpful. Okay, so now we understand how these are all laid out. So we received that email, and we've actually also mapped out the whole process. So after we went to Gilt, clicked on rugs, asked for us email address, password, and then where did it take us? It took us to gilt.com/category, let's just say rugs. It took us to the right page. And that's their process to bring someone in. And also we could say here, you might also say, welcome email dispatched. And if you want to, you can doodle these little guys, throw ends on them, and build out that whole sequence. And what you're going to find is you make a really clear and strategic map of exactly how the site's built together. Now, if you have an ounce of design in your body, maybe you can make yours look better than I just made this one. I am so far the worst designer I think I've ever met. So I'm terrible at that. But this is the logic of it. So just throw arrows in here, save it, share it with your client. That's their process. Nothing to it. And that's an immersion sequence. So again, the point of the immersion sequence is to measure the system, because measuring it, just the act of measuring it, makes it more, well, makes it more efficient, makes you understand it better, and stops you from accidentally screwing something up. So you'll be able to look later on, we'll talk about analytics, you'll be able to look at the different pages and the conversion rates. How many people go from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and then from here to here? How many people complete the whole thing? And then can you test different things? Can we say, I want password and gender on this thing, so we remove a step? You know what I mean? Like, merge these two together. Is that going to make the throughput higher? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. One thing that you can always do when you're mapping out a process is you can think to yourself, who's leading the industry right now? Who's got good capital investment? And who's probably doing a decent marketing job? Go out and map their whole process out. Like, just look at the competitor. Look at someone else doing it. Map their whole process out completely, and you'll be able to see maybe holes in your own process. So there's nothing wrong with swiping an idea from your competitor or from someone else, as long as you're never taking that swiped idea and copying it verbatim. I think it's great to look at what your competitors are doing, understand it, like really understand it, and then build something better. Because you don't have to guess what they're doing. If you're a marketer, you can look through what they're doing and actually do a better job and be more effective, or hire people that can do a better job than you if you're not a technologist, which I'm not. So that concludes this video on how to do immersion sequences. I can't say it enough. It seems simplistic. It almost seems like it doesn't matter, like it's just the doodle. But this is the foundation of a functioning website. If your website gets crazy busy, you're going to want to be able to figure out conversion rates for each different traffic source. You're going to want to know, if you're selling a $7,000 thing, that you spending $500 per lead or per person coming to the website actually gestates a sign up. You want someone to get down to that thank you page. If you can't track that because you don't have it mapped down, you don't know what pages they're going to go through, you're going to spend money foolishly and you're going to waste money. If you're working for someone else and they're currently doing that, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to go in, measure what's currently going on, measure how much they're spending on all the different advertising platforms, and save them a ton of money by fixing a couple small things. So I told you about a Google URL builder. Just search a Google URL builder, and you're going to find this URL builder. And if you scroll down a little bit, this is all that UTM stuff. So let's build that URL. We say, I want to take someone to this Jack Spade page. That's the URL I want to take them to. So we say, that's the URL. What's the source of the campaign? Well, we're going to say that this is going to be an email that I'm just going to... No, let's say that this is a Facebook ad. How about just a Facebook post? I'm not even paying for this. I'm just putting a Facebook post out. I'm Gilt, and I have someone on staff, and they're going to put out a Facebook post. It's going to show up in people's news feeds that like Gilt. Okay. So what's the source for it? What's the medium? So the source is going to be Facebook. Simple. What's the medium? Is it an ad? No. Is it an email? No. So what is it? I would call it FB post. Simple. Now you should use FB post for all Facebook posts. Don't say FB post and then some other times say FB dash post and other times say Facebook post or anything like that. Just stick with a naming convention. Write it on a note card, keep that note card available, always reference it so your naming conventions are the same across the board. Is there a paid keyword that we want to associate with this? Nope. How about any content? Is there different ads that we're showing? I want to say variation 1 versus variation 2. Nope. Now what about the campaign name? What's the campaign name? Well, the campaign is about Jack Spade. So I'm going to call it Jack. You know what? I'm going to say the date first. So 0908. Let's start with the year. 2014 0908. Jack Spade Accessories. Simple. That's the campaign name. If I ever search for that campaign name later, which you'll see how to do in the Google Analytics video, we'll know the date that we ran that ad. Now, someone might click on that ad tomorrow or in a week, and that's fine, but what's happening is it's attributing that click back to this one post. I hit submit. Google makes the URL for me right there. You don't have to memorize how to do this. They added that question mark. UTM source is Facebook. UTM medium is FB post. UTM campaign is the date and the product that we're showing. So it's that simple to be able to produce these URLs. Now these URLs are ugly. Okay, this is a long URL and it's kind of ugly. And if I share it on Facebook, you know, are people going to like it? I don't know. So what we can do is I can copy that URL and I can go to a website like tinyURL. Have you ever heard of tinyURL? tinyURL is a good one. We say, here's that long URL. I just pasted it in there, that super long one. Make it tiny. So that following long URL is now just a tiny URL. It's kind of nice. There's another service called bit.ly, bit.ly. You can use that. Same thing. Paste a link to shorten it. Paste, shorten. Real simple. And then I get a bit.ly link. There's my bit.ly link right there. Now the one that I prefer out of all of them is Google. GOO.gl. It's Google's link shortener. I mean, bit.ly's pretty great, but for some reason, I don't know. I just have a preference for Google. There's at least 100 of these different URL shorteners. With Google, shorten. Here it is shortened. Here it is. I just hit Control-C, it copies it to the clipboard. I can hit details, and it shows me who's clicked on it over the course of time. I sent out a lot of links with this. Here's one. I sent this out in an email recently. You can see that 2 people on a Mac and 2 people on an iPhone opened it. 1 person opened it in Chrome, 3 people in Safari, which I guess makes sense because Macs and Apple products use Safari. Okay. And everyone's in the US. Kind of neat data. And if I look in the past week, someone opened it the day I sent it, someone opened it the next day, and someone opened it like the following day. So I get to see the 4 clicks that happened. I don't know who clicked these, but it's still pretty helpful. I use URL trackers like this when I'm sending an email to someone and I want them to know if they clicked on something. I send URL trackers like this, URL shorteners, or even tracking URLs like this when I send an email to someone or a sales message to someone and say, if you want to look at testimonials, click here. So here's an example. This email, this is one of my email accounts. I have in my email footer, I think this is kind of interesting, my email address. Talks about where I am at the university. Let's connect on LinkedIn. It says LinkedIn, but it goes to a Google link. If I hit change, it just sends people to this link. something that you can do that's kind of neat. This is like another super user trick. If I paste it up here and I add a plus mark at the end, it gives me the analytics of it. So I can see by having that in my email footer, since I added that July 1st of 2013, I've gotten 47 people to click on it. Not bad, huh? That's kind of neat. I haven't looked at this in a long time. But I tracked that information. Now another piece that I wanted to track, check out what other people are saying about Tech Guys. So you click here and you go to the Tech Guys. Let's just go to it. We'll go to the Tech Guys website, and it's our clients page. So you can see who our clients are, and you can listen to testimonials. But I want to know how people got here. Look at that URL. I'm going to copy this. Tech Guys Who Get Marketing.com/our clients, UTM source, medium, campaign, CSS sig. That's my name, Casey Slaughter Stanton's signature. That's the source of it in an email. So my email signature in the campaign is CSS email sig. Nothing fancy here, but I can go then into analytics later and see how many people got to this page from there. I think it's pretty sweet. Nice thing to be able to do and track people with. Track their actions and see if they're taking action. So that wraps up this video on how to build out an immersion sequence, and I hope that you look for immersion sequences on websites. Doodle them out. I keep note cards next to my desk and I write on them all the time. Just kind of draw out what the process of a website is, and maybe how you would improve it. Maybe you're thinking, God, this is kind of awful. What can I do to improve it? Well, you can map out the website and then you can figure it out. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. Jot a note down in the comments if you'd like, or reach out to me. Hope to hear from you. Take care.